How does the intelligence community operate?
So the DNI briefs the president and offers decision levers. It's important to understand that the intelligence community never, ever makes policy.
Okay, that is another huge, huge point. The difference between me when I do research and a lot of these talking heads out there, they don't know anything about anything. They're just plain pretend. When I do it, we listen to the GS-15 CIA agents. What did he say right there? Intelligence community never issues policy. The only person that does the policy is the president of the United States, the commander-in-chief. What does that mean? That means President Barack Obama knew about MH370. No question, no doubt. Former President Barack Obama knows what we did to MH370. Even if he somehow was not involved in building the operation, which is practically impossible. The guy was president from 2008 to 2016, and the plane disappeared in 2014. The plane disappears 6 years into his presidency, in his second term. Of course, he knew the CIA was running an covert operation. But even if he didn't know, even if we gave him the benefit of the doubt, after the fact, when now we have to do some kind of weird cover-up, the president would have been the one that makes the decision. The intelligence community would have come to President Barack Obama. They would have said, hey, B.O., hey, B-Rock. They would have said, we got a bit of a problem on our hands. They would have said, well, we kind of zapped this Boeing 777 with a thermonuclear weapon, and we need you now to smooth it over with Malaysia. Here are the options. Option number 1, we make up a fake cover story. Option number 2, we say nothing. Option number 3, we press Malaysia to take the guilt. And that's what we did. What we did was we told Malaysia, you're going to lie for us. People always ask me this, or they tell me, they criticize me, and they say, Ashton, why are you pushing the government narrative on this one thing that's completely different than this other thing? And first of all, because things that are different don't require the same exact response, number 1. Number 2, the United States never actually lied about MH370. They just never said anything. Do you guys get the difference? When there's a real cover-up, people are terrified to say anything on the record because anything they say on the record could later on be proven to be false. So when they do a cover-up, what they do is they say nothing. Radio silence. Radio silence. And instead, we made Malaysia do the lying. We made the Malaysian prime minister claim that the plane went down in the South Indian Ocean with no evidence whatsoever. No evidence whatsoever the plane went down in the South Indian Ocean. Not one shred of the plane was found down there. And we made him lie. And how did we make him lie? Because we had dirt on him. Because it turns out we knew that he was stealing hundreds of millions of dollars. We knew the Prime Minister of Malaysia was stealing hundreds of millions of dollars from a fund that he shouldn't have been stealing from. And all we had to do was say, you either lie for us, or we expose your kleptocracy. We expose your corruption. Turns out we exposed the corruption a year later anyway, and he went to prison. Yes, the Prime Minister of Malaysia that we forced to lie went to prison. That's a 100% factual statement. And he went for prison for corruption. So that's what we did. We made them lie. So I just think that this slide is super interesting because what you have to understand, anybody that's talking about conspiracies and the CIA and all this shit, which everybody talks about all the time, none of them know how any of this stuff works. The only person that makes policy is the president and the White House. The intelligence community do not make policy. So when people are talking about, oh, the CIA and the Mossad are controlling the government, I mean, you can kind of stretch the definition, But in reality, the person that makes the policy is the president. President Trump is the one making the policies.
So decision lever one, I threw three of them together, three that made sense. Well, first is to observe, but continue active collection and analysis. This is a very passive stance. Just keep watching and see what happens. The second is to engage the phenomenon in some way, but don't threaten it. That is, let's fly something toward it or do something perhaps to attract its attention, but don't make it feel like it's in danger. We're just trying to see what reaction might come by engaging this phenomenon. And the third is very dangerous because it's not only engaging a phenomenon, but provoking a reaction. And provoking in the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2022 that left the House and it's on its way to the Senate. There's a provision in there for this UAP office within the Pentagon to report on efforts to capture a UAP. When you tell the Department of Defense that you're interested in capturing a UAP and you want reports on progress for capturing a UAP, it gives the Department of Defense the idea that it's a kinetic response. And so that's decision lever three, provoke a reaction. And I don't recommend shooting anything.
There are clearances above top secret
At the feasibility of DNA storing data.
I skipped over some of this MK Ultra and biology stuff. If you're interested in that, you can check it out. Thank you for reposting the stream, guys, by the way.
Let's look at some classifications. Above top secret. There's nothing really above top secret. It's all top secret. But there are compartments that are so narrow and so limited as to who's read into them that for all intents and purposes, they might as well be above top secret, because just having a top secret clearance does not necessarily qualify you to have that information. The one that I know related to Bob Fisher again is crypto, the crypto clearance. He claims to have had an above top secret clearance. What he really meant to say is, I had a top secret crypto clearance. Not many people have that. So that's an example of a so-called above top secret clearance. And if you look at FOIAs, you'll see an alphabet soup of markings. The most common one is SITK NOFORN. Top secret is obvious. Special intelligence is communications intelligence, or SIGINT. Talent keyhole. Talent is ISR, is airborne sensors. Keyhole is space-based sensors. The keyhole, why keyhole? Well, the pattern that the satellites make over the Earth.
So the point of this one, I'm just going to skip a little bit past this, is that there are multiple clearance types. Like top secret is the top, but then it gets compartmentalized after top secret. And he's saying, okay, you need keyhole clearance if you want to have ISR capability. There are labels for NOFORN as well. NOFORN does not mean no fornication for my incels out there. NOFORN means that you can't share that information with foreign allies. So this means that a lot of the information that might be NOFORN, that means that we're keeping it internally. So for all the people out there that are going, Israel controls you, they control blah, blah, blah. There's certain stuff we don't share with them. Presumably we share whatever weapons we develop together. But keep in mind that we're also trying to keep this information from even our allies, because our allies might leak the information out as well.
It's very much like an hourglass, except the very top of that hourglass is very narrow ellipse. And the bottom of that hourglass is a much longer ellipse, slightly wider. So it reminded NRO of keyholes. So therefore, they named that program Keyhole, that compartment, Keyhole. NOFORN means NOFORN, and that means not even to Five Eyes. The British...
not even to Five Eyes. NOFORN means that not even the Five Eyes get to see that information.
UFO files were labeled UK only, NOFORN, which means that the British did not share its files with the US government. It kept those files to itself until they were formally released.
So even the British government was keeping their UFO files secret from us. So even people that are allies are keeping this nuclear weapon technology and secrets secret from each other, which totally makes sense. Because if you are trying to make sure that something doesn't leak, you need nobody to know about it. Not even your allies. Not even our top allies can know about this technology. That's pretty scary, man. That's pretty scary to me. I don't know about you guys. Okay, now we're going to get into some of the alien stuff. For the people that are always saying, oh, you're talking about aliens. I literally never talk about aliens, but you know what? We're going to talk about aliens. Here you go.
Stuff here. Russia has had space forces for a long time. It's part of the Russian Aerospace Forces. I found an interesting quote from a Russian officer, Sergei Brezhnev, and he said, "We are unfortunately not ready to fight extraterrestrial civilizations." And he said that in all seriousness to a question posed by Russian media. And that's his position. So I should have sourced that one, but it's an interesting quote.
What? What did he just say? Let me put my glasses back on. I feel like I was unable to read that. Let me go full boomer here and make sure I'm reading that properly. Direct quote: "We are unfortunately not ready to fight extraterrestrial civilizations." Okay. Wow. The reason why that kind of, I mean, most of you are probably going, okay, that's crazy, bro. You're going, that's crazy. That's nuts. Right. And I'm kind of with you on that. The reason why it gives me pause, two reasons. Number one, there certainly could be aliens out there that have super advanced technology. In fact, we are definitely primitives that are basically the equivalent of monkeys in the jungle, while the aliens are flying around on gravity wave devices, right? The other thing that gives me pause is that Salvatore Pais also implied this multiple times. I think it was our second interview, maybe the third interview, could be wrong, where he talks about human technology. He says, "I believe in human technology." Actually, I think it was his leaked, the letter that he asked Dave to post and read out loud. "I believe in human technology." That almost implied that we're developing this technology, these super nukes, these warp nukes, 0-point energy weapons, whatever the hell you want to call them. We're developing these weapons because at some point we're preparing for an intergalactic battle. We're preparing for the aliens to teleport out of nowhere, appear in front of us, and we're going to zap them with thermonuclear weapons. It kind of sounds pretty crazy to me when I say it out loud, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. I'd say it's extremely low likelihood, but you could see just in a hypothetical scenario where we have been, let's say we see these energy orbs flying around. We do one of these investigations and they go, it's not China, it's not Russia, it's got to be something else. Maybe it's the Atlanteans. Maybe it's a civilization from somewhere else. How would the military respond to that? We know how they would respond, guys. Come on, use our heads. They would go and try to build something that can fight the aliens. How would we respond if we see some alien flying? We're going to try to figure out how to take them down. Guys, it's the whole plot of Independence Day. The whole plot of Independence Day. The aliens show up. First thing we do is figure out how to make a virus that kills them all. That's what we would do. We would try to figure out what kind of weapons work on them. What are they weak against? How do we beat them if they show up in mass numbers to wipe us out? And the reality is we would have no chance. We'd have no chance at all. They could just zap our planet away in a black hole if they wanted to, but that wouldn't stop us. We would still try to build countermeasures 100%. So that's why this quote kind of freaked me out a little bit. Because the other thing is that it's not just us that knows. China and Russia also have intelligence apparatus. I don't personally believe they have the type of weapons that we have, but they're catching up. And so if we know about UFOs, the aliens, that China and Russia knows about the aliens and the UFOs as well. And we might all be trying to do the same thing. You could even imagine a scenario where like the aliens came from underwater, like Terror from the Deep, XCOM Terror from the Deep, crab people. The aliens come out and then everybody just freaks out. Everybody's like, oh shit, chat. They're going, we got we got lobster aliens coming out from the oceans. And then so Putin and Z and Trump or Obama, whoever, meet together, not Biden. They all meet up and they're like, yeah, we gotta hide this. We gotta be quiet about this. We gotta all build up super advanced weapons so we can fight the Atlanteans, the lobster people Atlanteans. So even if it's insane, which it definitely is, I could see a scenario where it happens, where it's real. Okay, the next one, domes of light. Here you go.
Reach across the ocean. It was not an ICBM. It could not have touched the US, but our allies would have been at risk. So every time the Russians, well, not every time, but many times when the Russians would test the SS-20 Sabre, here comes these domes of light. also appearing. Now, NASIC's predecessor, FTD, they still stuck with the fact that, according to them, they thought the Dome of Light could be a missile countermeasure to obscure the numbers and trajectories of a Soviet nuclear missile attack. And the Dome of Light was used by Senator Jesse Helms of North Carolina. He actually used the phrase Dome of Light in a comment he made.
Dome of Light, chat. Dome of Light. Sound familiar? Sounds a lot like some Tom Bearden. Tonight's Moment of Zen is going to be a Tom Bearden clip, by the way, guys. I've got it ready to go. That just reminded me, actually. Domes of Light. And now he's connecting it to intercontinental ballistic missile weapons tests. This is the part where I look at this and I go, John Ramirez knows more than what he's saying here. I think John Ramirez knows more than what he's saying. And I mean, he admitted this is just the declassified version. The moment they're starting talking about it, linking this to weapons tests, he says the Soviet scientists and U.S. missile analysts observed that these domes seem to have some coincidental association with test launches of the SS-20 Sabre, intermediate range ballistic missile. Missile analysts at the then Foreign Technology Division believed that the domes of light could be a countermeasure to obscure the numbers and trajectories of a Soviet nuclear missile attack, directly connecting these domes of light to nuclear weapons. I actually can't even comprehend how more people have not figured out the secret of nuclear weapons. And the first giveaway should be that we banned nuclear weapon testing right after Ripple, right after we developed super powerful clean fusion bombs. We banned nuclear weapon testing. That's like literally what you do. And when you figured something out, when you play in a video game, I'm a video game master. When you're a video game master and you figure out some secret, the first thing you do is you ban everybody else from using it. You figure out the cheat codes and you're like, okay, nobody else is allowed to use the cheat codes, guys. Sorry, it was fun. I got to play with the cheat codes, but you're not allowed to do it. Everybody else is banned from it.